What you goggling there? Okay. Let's call the J John. Oh, she's so cute. Okay, wait, I put my pants on the wrong way. The tag is scratching my stomach, so I have to like put these around real quick, guys, before I call J John. Putting on my pants backwards. Backwards. Backward pants. Okay. I'm gonna pick Sprout. Let's pick this peach one. Snap that on real quick. It's floppy, so we can't actually snap it on as quick as we like. Okay. Hi. I promise I'll get it together. Okay. Ah! That's right. I have to call the person. I'm nervous.
Hello.
Hi! Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello! How are
Hello.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm alright. I'm kind of nervous.
It's okay.
I don't know where to start.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you want to go over any like previous draft stuff, or did you want to do a new one, or what's the plan?
I didn't even think that far ahead. Holy shit. Okay. I think I should have kept in mind some that I wanted to do. Okay, let's start with that. I'm pretty sure I could find something on 17 lands.
Okay.
How you been? What are your thoughts on this format so far?
It's the best.
The best?
Yeah.
Did you play much of MH3 by chance?
Yeah, I did play a lot on Arena, but I played a decent amount on MTGO.
Okay, how do you feel compared to this one?
I like this. Like this is really actually probably my favorite format in a long time. But I did like MH3. I thought it was good.
Change 17 months. What about this one in particular makes you like it so much more?
I feel like most of the color pairs are pretty playable, and then also I feel like you kind of get rewarded for building good decks a lot because some formats you just play like good cards and then like you try and play well, but I feel like you can build pretty good decks in this format with then like some of the cards that are not good in some archetypes are good in other ones, which I like that about formats usually.
Yeah, I would agree actually. Um, sheesh. Which one was this one? Um, oh my God, yeah, let's not look at these because I did not do well there. And it wasn't like, oh, I can learn from it. It was literally me just punting because I wasn't even like able to put literally 1+1 together.
Been there.
um okay, so this one just seemed all right. There was like some good losses and some not so much. But I couldn't really remember anything in particular that I wanted.
Okay.
Well, maybe not this one either. Sorry. Please
No, you're all
please put
good.
up with me. I
All good.
appreciate it. Which one was this one? Okay. Mm. Oh, you know what? You're probably like really good at the drafting portion too, obviously. So I think I want to go over that too. Okay.
Okay.
Uh so J John is a friend. He's really smart. He's really good at magic. And he's a really good teacher. So you guys are in for a treat. I picked this one first.
Cool.
Cool.
So from this pack, like what stands out to me is I think the pick would pretty clearly be between the one you picked, the Razorkin something or other, and the white rare. Are probably the two best cards by a decent enough margin, and that white uncommon door card or whatever is like decent, and then the blue green one is quite good if you're blue green. And I like your pick here. I think it's between that one and the rare. And if you're gonna pick this one, it has the advantage that you're not passing any red stuff.
Yeah.
And so if you can cut red decently, even if it's not open that much coming from the left or from the right, I guess, but passing to the left, then you can, with a pretty high likelihood, guarantee that you get some red cards going back the other direction. Whereas, like, if you take a white card here and you pass other good white cards, then it's a little harder to do that. So, no, I like the pick. It looks good.
Also, I was actually thinking that, so I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
But tell me about Toby, because for some reason, I don't. Okay, I guess just tell me why Toby is good.
Okay. So right off the bat, imagine it was just a 3 mana 4/4. That already would be pretty good stats, right? Because if it was just straight up a 3 mana 4/4, then you could block, you could attack, whatever, and it's better than most of the things you get at 3 mana. Like a decent stat line for a 3-drop usually is like 3 mana 3/3. Or if you have like some of the green ones that are a little buffer, get like 3 mana 3/4s. So 3 mana 4/4 is already pretty good, and making two bodies is quite good. Oh, I guess on the stream they said they don't see the pics, so I don't know if
Oh shit,
you
I'm
wanted
sorry,
to
guys.
load up the 17 minor
Oh my
combo.
god, I'm so sorry. I'm a terrible streamer. Let's
Nah, it's
see.
just the technology. It's tricky.
Dude, I don't have any emojis. I made one emoji in the last 2 years. So, okay, I have to browser. Oh no, never mind, that's not it. No, that's not it either. How? But while I do this, I guess I understand that people think Toby is good because it's like another body and like it's two bodies and it's pretty powerful. But then like the issue I have with it is that like that extra like quote unquote powerful body with good stats like can't actually block or attack. So it's kind of like whatever to me.
Okay, well, so think about it this way. If you're playing, so let's break it down by archetype. If you're playing white red, you probably have like 1 drops and 2 drops and stuff that you want to attack with anyways. And then a 4/4 is always going to be able to attack with those um, because it's bigger than everything else that comes down on the same turn.
Wait, say that again?
Okay. I would say, so if we break it down by archetype, so
Uh-huh.
let's look at like the different color pairs. So starting with, let's say, white red as an example. Um, you probably are going to have a bunch of like 1 and 2 drop creatures that you want to be attacking with already kind of incidentally, and you have combat tricks that make your attacks good. So if you're playing white red, you just have a 4/4. You're probably attacking anyways, and because its stats are bigger than everything else at that mana cost, you're going to be able to attack through mostly anything that your opponent plays anyways. So it'll be good aggressively.
Oh,
Right.
assuming you played on curve.
Yeah, assuming you
Okay.
played on. And like, let's say you are playing like white blue. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can play white blue in this format, I think. But pretty much no matter what you're doing, you'll either have a bunch of 1/1 bodies around that you can just use to block with this 4/4 and then turn them into good blocks. Or you're
Wait,
going to also, there's like a version of white blue that's like a little more aggressive as well. And so you might still be attacking anyways. So I think in white blue, then you can argue that, okay, this card should be good still. And then if we go white black, well, in white black, you often have things like the manifest red rats, the 2 mana 1/1s, and you have things like the 1 mana 1/1 enchant thing that when it dies ping something. So you have things that already interact well in combat that you don't mind pairing with the 4/4 to block with. Much less you can just block with the Toby itself and the 4/4 and probably have a profitable block in most scenarios. So with all that in mind, I think you're looking at a card that's good in most of the archetypes. Green white, I usually stay away from in this format. That's one of the color
yeah.
pairs that I'm less excited about. But even then, just having a big body works well with the green cards that I forget all the names, but the 2 mana monstrous something it like is deals damage based on the creature's power.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So having a 3 mana 4/4 means that your removal spells are going to kill like everything now. And you probably want to be attacking in white green anyways if you're doing either the survival thing or if you if you have like combat tricks to enable the survival thing. All those things are reasons why attacking would be good. So if you break it down by color pair, even though yes, it's a drawback, like if it was just a vanilla 4/4, it would be better than it currently is. It's really not as big of a drawback as it may seem. If it didn't come with a 1/1 body, like imagine Toby was just a 4/4 that said you can't attack or block without something else, it would be significantly worse. But because it comes with a body, you can play it and you have the ability to block immediately, and you have a creature that's bigger than everything else they have. So you can always just have that as a block as well. And if they don't have a removal spell for it, then you're already doing quite well because most likely things won't be able to attack through it when it comes down.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
I think all of those things make sense, but for some reason I still don't like it.
Fair enough. Either way, the horde color that you're picking, I think, is quite good. So still no big deal. We're doing good.
Give me 1 second. Can you guys hear Jay John okay, or is he like Um, is the audio okay, I guess?
Ooh.
Okay, because I don't even like have him as like a sound source. He's actually just loud enough and my mic picks it up. So I'm wondering if that's gonna be like bad when I like save this as a file. Uh no, I think it should be okay because it records my voice. Oh god. Okay, sounds good. I'll just take that as it is. Okay. Thanks for this Wacky. Look, it's Wacky. Say hi to Wacky. Say hi to J John Wacky.
Hello. I just saw Wacky over at Finite Stream, so yeah.
Alright, and then it was this one.
Um. This pack kind of sucks a little bit.
Yeah.
I myself might be more inclined to go with the Glimmerlight.
Really?
I am not really a big fan of Most Valuable Slayer. I think that it's again it has its place that it's like playable in some decks, but in general it's not something I look to pick highly. I don't think it's like premier common or anything. On one hand, you can say it cuts red, but I don't think that we necessarily need to know that we're red. And the Glimmerlight goes well in a lot of different decks. It has like the enchantment kind of ETB for Eerie decks. And there are some, it's good in aggressive decks because the creature sizing is such that +1/+1 matters a decent amount in like a lot of matchups. So, I would be more inclined to Glimmerlight here. But, like the Most Valuable Slayer isn't like a disaster pick or anything like that. But I would go kind of the different direction.
Okay. Wait. I think this is hot shit. Why is it not hot shit?
Okay, so the body is understated a little bit. It's not just a disaster, but 4 mana 2/4 like ground creature already is not like super great. It doesn't block that well against things that attack through it. And then what I would say is that it's less flexible because you kind of need certain cards to go with it to make it good. Like if you have the red 3-drop that's like must be blocked, and you're like have a few of those, then obviously Most Valuable Slayer gets really good because you can just make them chump block like every single turn. But like if you just have like generic like creatures that you're trying to like attack through, there's no guarantee that like tapping out for Most Valuable Slayer is going to be good enough in general. So the way I think about picks early on in the draft is that the more the more flexible that they are, that is like a big boost regardless of like necessarily their power level. So Glimmerlight, I actually think is a better card than Most Valuable Slayer anyways, but it also has the added boost that since we're only 2 picks in, if you end up going into white red or you end up going into blue white or you go even into like white black, like Glimmerlight is playable in all of those decks. Whereas in order to make Most Valuable Slayer the best card it can be, you not only need to be red, obviously, but you also need specific cards to combo with it to maximize it. Whereas I think it's a lot easier to maximize Glimmerlight, and that's what makes it better in my opinion.
Oh, okay. And you don't think this is good?
I know I like Shard Mage's Rescue too, but Glimmerlight goes in more decks than Shard Mage's Rescue just because it's colorless,
Huh.
I think. And so I do think that Shard Mage's Rescue would be my second pick out of the pack if I were to pick amongst these.
Interesting. So what you're trying to do then is stay like a little bit more open still.
Yeah, and it's a kind of a weird thing, and it changes by format. But you want to like, for me, I try and calibrate within each format, like how important it is to stay open or how important it is to commit. And the things that influence that are like how good is the card that you currently have, and how good are the rares in the format. Because if the rares are really bad, then staying open has less value, for example. But if the rares are really good in a format, then staying open means that if you open one in pack 2, for example, and have the ability to move in, then your deck will be better by the end of the draft.
Okay.
So from this point, oh, sorry, do you have a question about that, or does that like make sense, or?
No, it makes sense because you said essentially if you pick a rare that's really good, then you kind of try to move in that direction so that you can like maximize it. Since you're picking it from the very beginning, you can like sort of cater around that more.
Mm-hmm.
But in like poopy sets, then you stay more open.
Well, actually, so the other direction, like if the rares in a set are bad, then you don't really have to stay open as much, because you're not giving up as much by being unable to pivot later, right? The advantage of being able to pivot later is that if you open like a really powerful card, you can just play it, because you've stayed open. So, but if there are no really powerful cards, or there aren't many of them, then staying open becomes less valuable in your draft, because at that point, you're not going to get paid off for staying open as often because all the cards are kind of the same value.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me
I don't know
internalize
if that's
that.
like nonsense.
It's not nonsense. It's just like very different type of thinking.
Mhm.
Um, and I need to like rewire something. Hold up. Rewiring my brain. So it's hold up. Let me fucking type this out. That might help. No, this one. Oh, wait, is it because if it's like a poopy set, all the cards are poopy, so you like can ditch them? Is that what's going on?
Okay, so the idea is, if you think about what is the benefit of remaining open,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
The benefit is if you get past cards that are really good, or like that you open cards that are really good, then you have the option to then still play them because you stayed open. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, imagine instead that the cards in the set all do the same exact thing, right? In every color. Imagine it's like
Oh!
there aren't great cards and bad cards, they're all just kind of medium.
Okay.
Then you might sacrifice card quality to stay open, but then all of a sudden it becomes less good, because if you sacrifice card quality to stay open, but then you're unlikely to get cards that are better than the ones you could have picked already, then there's not really an advantage in doing that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, this pick.
Okay, I actually don't mind this pick at all. I think Optimistic Scavenger is like the best card in the pack, but I do think that there's an interesting component of like, we passed a very good white rare already, and you're not giving up that much to take the Dragonfire. You're staying open by doing so because you already have 2 red cards, and Dragonfire, well, I think worse than Scavenger, isn't so much worse that this is at all a bad pick. Some other stuff I consider too is that, like, let's say you take Scavenger, not only did you pass a Toby pack 1, you're now passing a Trapped in the Screen this pack, which means that very likely someone in the seat to your left or 2 seats to your left is going to be pretty entrenched in white. So even if you take like a white card here, it may not be guaranteed that you're going to be able to be past that much white in the next pack, which isn't always a reason to stay away from a color. But given that you have a good on-color option anyways, I don't mind the Dragonfire. I think either one would be a defensible pick here. So this one is kind of interesting. Can I hear your thoughts for picking the? I know this draft I think was probably not like today, or I don't know how long ago it was, but like, what are your thoughts with like the cards in the pack?
Um, I don't want to go blue-red because
Okay,
this
how come?
card would be really good. Because it's just a very difficult archetype, in my opinion, to make work.
Okay.
um, and this one wheels.
Hmm.
And I thought, when it comes to red, I like red with white, preferably.
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
But then I think at some point someone also told me like red green as well is good. So I don't know if I was gonna try to splash this or not later.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, that's what's really the thought process. Just I like Boros because
Hmm.
red is better in Boros in my opinion.
Okay, gotcha. No, I think the rescue is a fine pick here. Like, I think a lot of like picks, like one person may have a preference one way or the other, but very rarely are there picks that are like just subjectively like bad picks, especially early in the draft. I think it's definitely defensible to have this Shard Mage's rescue. I think the other consideration is you could maybe speculate on the Brood Spinner. What that deck would look like would be, yeah, like you said, like a red-green deck, and you can splash black because green has a lot of good fixing in this format. So that's one thought as well. And like you said, Glimmer Burst is a pretty decent card in general. And a nice thing to take a mental note of is that card draw usually pairs well with cheap removal. So you have a Dragonfire ready, so Glimmer Burst also has a little bit of a boost there. Because if you can kill people's creatures for cheap, and then you spend mana to draw cards, then in the long game you're going to be more ahead. Whereas if you don't have cheap removal and you're trying to draw cards, you can fall behind too much. So in general, that's a nice thing to keep track of. So I think any of the three picks, like Rescue, Brood Spinner, or Glimmer Burst, are defensible.
Oh, okay. Look, gotta type things. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
There's just like awkward silence while I'm trying to type.
It's okay.
Okay, let's see here.
Okay.
Yeah. I still refuse to move into blue.
That's okay. I mean, at this point, I don't think Glimmer Burst is good enough to move into your kind of third color now, and Turn Inside Out is a pretty good trick in the red decks.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this pick. I think this is probably the best pick here.
Okay, Ham hates this. Or it doesn't, maybe he doesn't hate, he just really looks down on it.
On Turn Inside Out,
Yeah.
I think it's deck dependent. There are some decks that really don't want it, and some decks where it gets much better. In my opinion, like, okay, so do you know what's that fucking monkey called? There's like a one mana one
Percussion something?
Yeah, percussionist, I think. So that card in particular combos very well with Turn Inside Out because it allows you to trade your one drop for another creature, and then you get your card back from the percussionist and you get a manifest. So like when you have the decks that have a lot of like one drops that generate value, if you have like a bunch of percussionists, then something like Turn Inside Out gets a lot better. Or if you're like red green, it can turn centipedes, which already have drawn you a card, into a tempo positive play because you can pump it, trade with a bigger thing, and then get a manifest back. So stuff like that. Cards that generate value on their own combo nicely with Turn Inside Out. But I think sometimes people put them in decks where it's not optimal, and I agree with, like, I'm sure Ham is putting them in the decks where they're good and not where they're not good, and I agree with him that it would be not great in some decks where people are playing it.
Oh my god! I'm gonna pay you for this. Holy shit, it just like blew my mind. I need to write this down! Wait, I need to calm down first, that was too exciting. I'm stupid. Okay.
What? No.
Breathe! Breathe! Okay.
Alright, and really quick too, I would make the point, like, just to process how this draft could have been different, because like when you're just to convey the idea of being open, like back when we talked about it, pick 2 in the Glimmerlight pick. Imagine you took the most valuable Slayer. Instead of that, you took the Glimmerlight.
Oh!
Instead of the Dragonfire, you could have picked the opportunistic something or other, the one drop, the white one, that is the better card. And then you pick the Shard Mage's Rescue, which plays very well with that card because it's an enchantment and it protects it for 1 mana. And then here you could have taken like let's say the Glimmer Burst, and you could have been on your way to a very strong blue-white deck, as like an example.
What? Wait, what?
Like, so if you go back like to pick 2, for example,
Uh-huh.
then do you remember how we talked about maybe taking the Glimmer Light to stay open?
That was pick 2, yes, over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So imagine, can you like go back to the
Oh yeah,
two,
I
just so
could
we
not.
can keep track of how the so how the draft may have. So let's say from here, imagine you took the Glimmer Light, right? So you
Uh-huh.
have a Glimmer Light in your pile, and you go to pick 3, and now you can take the Scavenger because you're not as entrenched in red because you took a colorless card, and the Scavenger and the Glimmer Light work really well together because it makes it an enchantment, right? So you take the Scavenger now, and then in pick 4, you go forward. Now you take the Shard Mage's Rescue, which plays very well with the Scavenger because it protects it for cheap and is an enchantment to trigger the Eerie. And then when you go to pick 5 now, so here, then you would have only had 1 red card, and you could have taken the Glimmer Burst, which I think would be a better card in this spot than Turn Inside Out, and you could have been well on your way to a potentially very strong blue-white deck, and still had outs to be blue-red maybe, or sorry, white-red maybe, if you end up playing the Horde Caller.
How am I supposed to know this?
Hmm?
How do I predict the future?
No, that's the point. But that I'm trying to make is you cannot predict what cards are coming to you.
So you stay open. That's why you took the. Okay,
yeah,
got
so
it.
I'm just demonstrating that if the Glimmer Light pick had been different, then it opens you up to, if you're past a very strong card like the Scavenger, you have an easier time moving in because you haven't committed as hard to one particular color.
Okay. Damn. Okay, clown.
Okay. Mm, I think the Clown is a defensible pick here.
What would you have picked otherwise?
It's for me. It's either between the Clown and the Infection, Orogenic.
Oh,
I think
uh-huh.
Infection. I think both of this is kind of close to me. The Infection is good in the red-black decks, because it gets a creature and also you can sacrifice it. And a lot of the good black cards want or require some sacrifice in red-black.
Mm-hmm.
And also the thought occurs to me that if we were in red black, that Turn Inside Out gets better because you have targets that are good to cast on it, like the 1/1 rats and the percussionists.
Uh-huh.
So trying to pick cards that like, it's good to always have a plan when you make your pick. What the plan is to move in. Now, Clown to me
Plan to move
is
in means what? Move into what?
move in on, like, what if you're going to move in on a new color, or you pick a car, any particular pick that you make, you want to try and have an idea even early on what kind of deck that's leading towards, and that's where experience in the format comes in. The more you've played and the more you've experienced, you can have an idea. Like, for example, let's say you don't like blue red, right? Then you can say, okay, well, this card is a card that goes best in blue-red, but I don't really like blue-red. I don't think blue-red is good in the format. Then that can influence how you take your picks. So like here, when I was talking about like Infection, and I look at the cards in your list right now, and I say things like, oh, well, Turn Inside Out, that's pretty good in red-black too. So okay, that can be a good card in red-black, or some versions of red-black. But then you might say like, okay, I think that Clown works better in more of a red aggro list, and I already have a Slayer and a Horde Caller, and I think that's defensible too. So I think it's between those two, and it's really close. So I like the Clown pick. It still seems good to me.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay, so I only like listened to Cortical's like podcast like 2 days ago, the one before the last one. It talks exactly about like how these types of cards and like red black are actually really good.
Mhm.
And so like I've never cared for these enchantments before. There's also Cracked Skull, you know?
Yeah,
This one's obviously way better, but I was like paying them no attention at all. And it turns out it really works out well in this format.
yeah. In some versions, yes.
The-
Cool.
How do you feel
Yeah,
about this card?
I'm not big on it. I think I will play it in just like aggressive white decks. If I don't have better two drops, like it's fine. But I'm not huge on it. I think in general, jump scare will be better in most white red decks than the cheerleader. But cheerleader is being a two drop, like it's like the safe pick because you already have like two 1 mana interaction tricks. And you really do need two drops in you if you're going to play more like a more aggressive deck. But I think when it's early enough, you could just take the better card, and I agree the jump scare's better. Um, here, so this is interesting. I think we are not far enough into white that we have to be white red yet. All we have is a jump scare and the rescue, and this threats around every corner card is actually quite a good card. Um, so I would be taking that here and potentially being open to being red green because it is to me quite a signal to see that pick 8.
Yeah.
And even if that card was a blank that threats around every corner, I wouldn't really be taking the emerge from the cocoon in what's shaping up to be white red. I think we're pretty strongly in the direction of red at the moment. So I would actually be just taking the land with the idea that specifically in some white red decks, you might want to splash like the red green fight spell, or like I think it's a bite spell, the one with the delirium one. You can pick those up late sometimes because they're gold cards. And so I don't think that the cocoon probably, at least we don't want it to make the end version of a white red deck, whereas the land might have some advantage for us. But that said, I would just speculate on green here and take the threats around every corner myself.
Okay, I see. I wasn't thinking threats around every corner very well because I was looking at like these two cards. And I guess
Mhm.
in some way I was trying to maximize on that like low power type of creature thing, and I didn't think
Mhm.
that fit well with this.
Okay. I mean, it does make a 2/2, right? If you're talking about like triggering the clown because of the
Yeah,
manifest red.
yeah. I need to
Um,
think about that
mhm.
next.
Yeah. These cards kind of suck. Um, yeah, this is not the best pack for us. I think this pick is like fine. I think you could take the living phone too, because you have, already a few targets in your deck. And you're not excited to play that card in most scenarios unless you have like a ghost dancer or something in your deck. Ghostly dancer? I don't know, whatever it's called. But unless you have like a really high priority target, you're not really excited to play that card. But it's playable, and I don't know, all the other cards kind of suck too, but I think the one you picked is like fine. It's okay. Yep, that seems like the pick. Just red card and just random garbage afterwards. Sure. Oh, Friendly Ghost is a nice pickup. That card is actually pretty good in white red, I think. Cool.
Wait, I think there's, well, I guess out of the three, I would pick this one, but I think if I had other choices, I probably wouldn't put this in like, I wouldn't mind it, but I wouldn't want this to necessarily, it wouldn't make the cut, I guess.
Okay. I mean, okay, for comparison's sake, it's my opinion that in most white red decks, Friendly Ghost is decidedly better than like Most Valuable Slayer, for example. That's like my take
Wow.
on where those two
Wow. What is this? How dare you? Why is it more valuable than this?
Well, it's not more valuable because that one is the most valuable.
Oh,
But
that's right. My bad.
yeah, but well, okay. Firstly, it does actually apply more power when it comes down, right? It gives +2 on the turn you play it, and Most Valuable Slayer gives +1. So assuming that each of them enables an attack, that will either induce a chump or make it or let damage through. It pushes more damage when it enters, and it's a bigger threat afterwards because on a lot of boards, you're not going to have a like you might not have an attack, or if you do, what if you're playing blue eye and they have a bunch of 1/1s clogging up the ground and you still want to push damage? The flying is very valuable. And the way that white red plays out, I think, a lot in this format is you kind of chip in for damage and then at the end you either have a way to like push through the damage either by like jump scaring and flying over, or you have a big what's it called, Arabella, I think Arabella trigger, or something like that. So with that in mind, getting in like a just a chip 2 damage every turn or two with a friendly ghost, I think, is usually better than having the most valuable Slayer in my opinion.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Interesting. Because, like, I didn't think, because it only comes down with the effect one time, right? And I thought most
Uh-huh.
valuable Slayer was really good because it was like essentially not just one turn, it was several turns. But then, like, you do make a good point that just by being flying, it probably chips in as much, if not more, damage than this would offer.
Mhm.
Oh,
And yeah.
yeah. Okay. Fair point. Ugh. Damn it. Okay, I picked this one.
Okay. No, this card is quite good in some scenarios. I like it. I think it's between that and Percussionist. Um, Honestly, I don't know. The downside of the Needlehead is that obviously the double red is a little harder to cast. Um, I think maybe on average the Percussionist might even be a little bit better, but we are pretty heavy in red. So taking that into account, I think this pick is quite defensible. Seems very reasonable.
Ooh,
Yep, just the correct pick, I think, from where we're at.
it's so cute.
Yep, probably the best card in the pack.
Yeah.
Um, and it's on color, so sure. Well, yeah, that's a card. So I think we should take it and maybe look to be cutting white cards. Like that's one of the best rares in the set. And also, we're not passing anything really good to take that. Like if we were passing a really good, let's say red card, then you could maybe conceivably cut that. Or if our color distribution was more evenly split, so that would be a lot harder to play this black card, then we could maybe not take it. But given where we're at, I think you have to take that.
Yeah, I think at one point I realized, like, wait, my white cards suck. What am I doing? And then I
Yeah.
just switched. um, okay. I didn't
Mhm.
pick this because I didn't like it again. I was contemplating this one, but I felt like I needed removal because I learned a lesson about not having enough removal.
Okay. Yeah, this seems fine. I'm with you.
Uh,
Um, hmm. So we've got, yeah, we're kind of in an interesting spot here. Yeah, because like on one hand, I think if we're planning to be like red black with a decent amount of removal, then the clown gets worse
what?
because it's just a 3 mana 2/3 at the end of the day. It isn't like a big threat on its own, and it doesn't generate card advantage. In general, Final Vengeance is quite good in red black. But there's kind of a trade-off here in that, like in our particular deck, Final Vengeance doesn't look so good at the moment. So we're kind of in a weird like middle ground where we got past this really good black card. I think I like the clown pick here. But it's tough. If you really want to take like a leap of faith and jump in on the Final Vengeance, you could. But I don't remember seeing a lot of black like super open in pack one.
Yeah.
But and so because of that, I would be less hesitant. If, for example, we had seen more black being passed to us in pack one, even if we didn't end up picking it because maybe there were better red cards, I would be more comfortable taking the Final Vengeance here as like a gamble. But we also aren't super close on hitting playables, I think, because some of the cards in our power right now we're not excited to play, especially if we're going to take the shift into black too. So I think the clown is a fine safe pick here, but it's not super exciting. Yep, Fear Burning Alive is good. Yep. Yeah, I like this pick a lot. I think that we have incentive to want to be black instead of white so far, and this we need early creatures. And it hits Delirium a little bit easier for Fear of Burning Alive. So yeah, this pick I like quite a bit, and I think we're kind of dedicated to just trying to go for it in red black now. That's a great pickup. Actually, two quite good red black cards, but the Mirth is the best of them if we're red black in most versions of that deck. So yep. Yeah, sure. Like this one. Yep. 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 Oh, wait. Can you backtrack a couple picks there? How are we? Wait, can you go one more back? I missed one. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Fine. Yeah. And then this one is interesting. I guess the friendly teddy is probably the pick because we don't have two drops, right? We have
Yeah.
friendly, two drop. We have one.
No, we didn't.
Okay,
We didn't
sure.
have that. Sorry.
No, yeah, you're good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Two.
All right.
I shouldn't have picked one this, but I was like, I need two drops.
um, I actually respect the discipline of this pick. Like, whether or not like everyone would agree with it or not, I think the idea is really good. The in pack three, you typically want to focus on what your deck needs, and you correctly identify that your deck needs two drops. So I do think it might be a little too weak of a two drop compared to Fear of Burning Alive, which is quite a good card just generically. But I like the idea behind this pick, and I don't think that you should feel bad about it. Like you do need two drops, and that's a two drop. So yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, because it was pack three, and my two drop was a fucking teddy.
Yeah.
Like this. Do you think innocuous rat would have been better?
I think Scorching Dragonfire would have been better.
Oh.
Because firstly, sometimes you don't need two mana creatures if you have two mana removal, and then you already have a way to generate card advantage. Two of them actually that are good in the Mirth and in your rare that draws cards with the demon thing. So that's the thing we talked about earlier with like the Glimmer Burst. It's the same idea. If you can get cheap removal, and then you have either really strong cards like the demon door thing to finish games off, or ways to get card advantage like the Disturbing Mirth. Um, then that's in and of itself a game plan. So you don't need to be like this aggressive deck just because you're red. Um, so I would be taking the Dragonfire here myself.
Okay, explain it again.
Oh yeah. So like first of all, I think Dragonfire is a comparable card to Fear of whatever that 4/2 is. I can't really, something being hunted. Um, I think Dragonfire is probably a little bit of a better card in general, anyways. And we just mentioned that we're concerned about our number of two mana plays, and so that's a two mana play. It fills a hole in our deck.
Okay.
And as a game plan, think of it: removal makes the games last longer. Okay, that's a good way to think about it.
Okay.
And so if you have like a really good card in your deck or a handful of really good cards, then having removal will make the games last longer, which means you're more likely to draw them, and that you have a powerful enough card in your deck that you can finish off the game that way. So,
Oh.
so removal plus good cards, removal plus card advantage, those things pair together a lot. Because also, if your removal trades one for one, so they play a creature, you kill it, they play a creature, you kill it, and then you end up drawing cards because you have like the Demon Enchant or you have Disturbing Mirth. That's how you can pull ahead in games, right? So specifically, cheap removal, along with card advantage and strong bombs, it is like a really good recipe for like a winning deck.
Oh, okay. Okay. Noted. This one.
That one, yes, for all the reasons we just said, and you can sacrifice it, so it's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
What are your thoughts on this one?
Thanks for the follow, Viper. What are my thoughts on this one? I don't remember, honestly. I don't. Hold up. Why was it? Wait. Okay. Oh, I probably wanted to be able to like sack this or this at one point.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I picked it.
Yeah, I think in red black sacrifice is exactly where you would want that 4-drop that you picked. But I think there's a couple other considerations that I would make here. Firstly, we don't have that much that's great to sacrifice. It's great with the Vengeful something, the 3-mana Steel card. That one, yeah. So it's good there because it gives you a sacrifice outlet. And it's good with the Mirth because you can sacrifice it to get your Manifest Red. And it's good with some of the doors if we pick any up that like they do their thing and then you sacrifice. But it is a 4-drop, which we don't need a whole lot of. And here's what I'm thinking. At the moment, I think we're gonna play more likely a little more like a control deck. Because we have a couple good cheap removal spells, and we have really good top end. So I would actually be more inclined to take either the Commune with Evil because it helps us find our good cards,
Yeah.
or I actually think I would count how many playables we have, but I might take the dual land over the 4-drop too, because the mana distribution can get weird when you have a lot of cards of one color because then you want a lot of sources, but then you also have one single double black card, the backside of the demon enchant. And so it can make this weird tension in your mana base because you want enough black sources to be able to activate your double black, but you also need to have red because your deck doesn't function without red. So having dual lands, which is allows you to have more sources of colors without having extra lands in your deck, gets a lot better. So for me, I think I would go Commune with Evil first, then the dual land, and then probably one of the red cards. It's sort of like a pick order here.
Okay. I never heard of like the concept of mana tension. That's interesting.
Yeah, you could think about it kind of like almost like a splash, right? Like imagine you're splashing this black card because if you look at it, you don't actually have that many black cards.
Yeah.
Right? So if you think about it like the idea of a splash, the reason why we don't splash double pip cards very often is because they require a lot of sources to consistently be able to cast. But if you play a lot of sources, then you're kind of sacrificing the consistency of the rest of your deck for your splash. And a way to resolve that is by having things that can tap for both colors, like your dual lands.
Okay. I'm cold. I'm gonna get my heated blanket.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions as you've been watching along, please feel free to ask them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're in a you're live. You're live, J. Don.
Hello, chat. What kind of snacks are best for drafting? Does that count? It's the best.
Which one did you say was the best?
Water?
Water? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You don't think like carb loading might be like a thing?
For drafting?
Yeah.
I don't know about. I mean, who doesn't love eating delicious carbs? But I don't think it's a requirement for the old sitting at the computer, you know? Giant pasta plate. Sign me up.
A giant pasta plate, yeah, right? So much pasta. I'll be like having too much of the item to play.
Water isn't a snack. I mean, that's fair. I can admit that that's a very reasonable take to have.
Flutter, would you eat tomatoes as a snack when you draft? Because you put tomatoes, I'm assuming.
Maybe the tomatoes are to go with the pasta plate. Maybe that's.
Oh, okay, okay. Cool.
That makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, we all good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I picked the monkey.
Yeah, monkey is yeah.
And then this one.
I think either of the red or black cards would be. I mean, the ticket booth or the murder would maybe be better than that. I think we might be okay on 2-drops now because we have a Scorching Dragonfire from earlier, and we have the Nowhere to Run, and we picked up the Teddy, which we can play. I think we might be okay on 2s. And so Murder is in general a better card. It gives us an answer to threats. And then, or alternatively, the door card with a ticket booth. It's nice when you're doing some of the sacrifice stuff too. Like you just picked a 4-drop that can sacrifice for card advantage, and we also have the disturbing mark, because sometimes it's nice to just make your 2/2 and then sacrifice it, and you're not sacrificing like an actual creature card.
Oh.
And also as like a top end, sometimes just the 6-mana door can be a way to get a lot of damage in. So I think the playmate is not a big priority for us now. If we were still like planning to be white red, it would be a little better, because I think there are some cards it works pretty nicely with in white red. But I would be on either murder or ticket booth here, I think, myself.
Okay. Yeah, why didn't I pick the Final Vengeance? What was I doing?
I agree that I like the Final Vengeance pick here.
What the fuck?
And I think that
I think
I can see a scenario. Maybe you tunnel visioned hard on needing the 2
I
drops,
think I
because,
did.
like, earlier it was a good pick, but we've since picked up a couple, and we don't need it as much anymore. But I think that might have been it.
Yeah, that happens to me often, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think it happens to everyone too. Like you get focused on a particular thing. I think sometimes it's just a good habit to try and refocus on each pick if you can. But I mean, like I said, that happens to everyone, so I wouldn't worry too much. Also, our blue deck would have been filthy, by the way.
Yeah, I did make that comment, I think.
What's that?
I did make a comment like that later.
Yeah.
There's this one.
Nice. That's a nice pickup.
This one.
Sure. Play game. Sure.
Woo!
Okay, cool. So we actually, both the cards that I wanted to pick the first time wheeled. I think either one is fine here. I might still be, especially given we got a second Fear of Burning Alive, I would be more inclined to pick the Commune with You one, because that helps you from Delirium too.
You're so right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But okay, cool. Oh, and we got the ticket booth back. Nice. So okay, cool. So what does our deck look like? Is what's in the sideboard? Because I don't see the ticket booth here, and I'm intrigued. I would put probably the ticket booth in for, like, I'm not very big on these clowns here, I guess, is where I'm.
Oh, that's a lot of them.
I think the clowns are not really at their best here. If we wanted to be more of, like, so you have two, what is that card? The Hand That Feeds. So we have two Hand That Feeds, and we have two Fear of Burning Alive for things that reward us for hitting Delirium. And so the ticket booth both is an enchantment, which is a type that is less common in our deck, and it manifests dread, which puts cards in the yard. So I think this card would be like noticeably better than like a clown, for example, for those reasons.
My God. Okay.
Cool. And without delving too far into it, like there are some versions of this deck where you might want that 4-mana, like discard 2 type card. Let's play a game. That's not a great card in general, so I'm not like super upset to not play it. But just a comment, there are some versions of this deck that will play it. Usually when you have a lot of things that trade 1 for 1, like if you had a little bit more removal, then the card advantage of like just discard 2, or sometimes having the Delirium drawn can get pretty good.
Okay.
I actually might play the Friendly Teddy too. Oh, the Fear of Lost Teeth needs to be in, by the way. That one, you really want to play in this deck, like, quite a bit.
I didn't.
So, the reason I say that, just to, like, again, the thing we care about is mostly like the concept. It has 2 types, so being an enchantment means that you're going to be able to turn on Delirium a lot easier, which you have multiple cards that want you to have Delirium. And if you're worried about your early plays, it gains a life and it trades for most of, like, 2-mana plays and some 3 as well. So, like, for example, if that card were in instead of like maybe like Ragged Playmate, or if that card were in instead of even like a Vicious Clown, I think your deck would be a little bit better at hitting Delirium.
This one.
The Fear of Lost Teeth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and generically that card is like better than it looks. So I think that that's like just something to keep in mind that most black decks will want to be playing that card. Um, just because it trades off early, it gains you some life, and it has good typing if you're doing delirium stuff.
Yeah, okay. Um, okay. Okay, okay.
Okay.
And then details, right? That's okay, okay.
Okay.
Boop 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 boop. Wait, how do I do this?
Oh, you have to click
9 turns,
the
okay.
turns thing. Yeah.
Wait, did I win or lose this one?
You win.
That's too many turns. That's too many turns. Okay, here we go. I want to go
Okay.
over one game and then maybe move on to like a draft.
Okay. Sounds good.
Keepsies.
Yep. Super keep.
I
Dude, sad.
got
It's actually fine, but like it would be good to get the percussionist in there, given that we also have like multiple other lands to hit our land drops.
I think at one point, I really did do that. I don't know if it was this game, but I've done it at least in another game. And I got really mad at myself.
There are times when that's the correct play, so I wouldn't be like too upset about it. But I think that this is not one of those times.
Okay, but I think, okay, let's just imagine I actually knew what I was doing.
Okay.
All right, and I don't approach this deck anymore as an aggressive deck, right? I approach this as like what you said, sort of a controlling deck. This putting this down first so I can have the needlehead later would make more sense, right?
Well, the thing is that yes, that would be an argument you could make if you didn't already have two untapped red sources. So you still had the opportunity to go percussionist into needlehead. So you're just giving up your turn one mana here, but it's not like it gets you to needlehead because you would have had it anyways, right?
What if I didn't have this?
Then the discussion gets a lot better, and I think that it is a defensible play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was totally wrong.
Did you draw the second red source on your draw step? Like if you go back one more?
Yeah.
Okay, no, we already had it. Okay.
Oh, I drew a black source. A black
Gotcha.
swamp. Okay.
Yeah, so I think we should have been planning to play the red card, but it's still okay. Cool.
Oh, then they kill it. Cool.
Yep.
They kill me. Put this down. They swing? Is that
Yep.
okay?
Yep. Looks good. Because you're not likely gonna have a block anyways.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's still there. Okay. Hits me. Ticket boost. Manifest. Oh man.
Well, I mean, it looks like you're just getting flooded a lot, which happens sometimes. I mean, that's just magic, as you know. But this is fine. I don't like the block here if that's happening.
I'm scared though, and I wanted to get more cards. I wanted to like play. I guess I saw the blocking as like drawing a card, so I could have something other than land.
Okay, so here's the thought though. Let's say you draw the best card you could draw that you could cast right now would be maybe like the black 2 mana removal spell. I think is like as far as instants and sorceries go, or instants go in your deck that you can use your mana this immediate turn. Then you get to kill their 2/2. And okay, you use your mana, great. But let's say instead, alternatively, and that's the best case scenario, right? So let's say that doesn't happen. You take 4 damage, you play a land, you play your 4/4, sack your 1/1, and kill their 2/2. Their 2/2 dies either way, and now you get an additional card because then you get the card off your percussionist.
It's like every 10 to 15 minutes, I feel stupid as shit.
It's just a matter of like trying to like plan out a bit more, like what you're gonna use your mana on.
Yeah.
Here's a general concept though that's nice to think about. The percussionist, well, it's nice because it can generate value, and you can get nice trump blocks like you do here sometimes. One of the downsides that is not very obvious about the percussionist is that it makes your turns less flexible, right? Because let's say you draw a clown off of this percussionist. Next turn, you're going to lose it if you don't play it, right? So now you have to spend 3 mana and play a clown instead of 5 mana and play your 4/4, right? So it makes your turns way less flexible, or you're going to lose the card that they draw. So if you have something like a turn planned out that you really want, like, okay, I really want to use my mana well next turn, like I have a 5-drop I want to play, then there's a very real downside to blocking with this 1/1 because you might have to use your mana in a way less efficient way on the following turn. So
see.
even if you didn't plan out sacrificing the percussionist, that's like something that you kind of want to think about with that card in particular.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Wait.
Cool.
Wait, what? Sorry. Okay. No. I'm just looking at the recording. Oh no! I'm putting in the wrong timestamps. This is not gonna make sense now. Sorry. I'm just don't worry about me.
Okay.
Okay.
It's all good.
Yes, everything's okay. Oh, I got a swamp out of it, and I think I drew another land afterwards. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, really, there was never anything you were going to do this game that was going to be like a huge difference maker, probably just because your opponent has it all, and like you're getting super flooded, so that's just going to happen.
Okay, let's go back. Okay.
Is that manifest? What that was their 4/4?
This?
I mean, I think it does it flip into it, or do they cast it?
Oh, it was from this, I think.
Horde Caller. Oh no, yeah. But I was asking, like, do they flip the manifest into the Horde Caller? Oh, they do. So, like, for example, if you had killed it with the percussionist, you actually would have been in a lot safer position because I mean, you don't know that it's that going in, but just to show how the game could have taken like a different route, you know?
Yeah. Oh my god. I might have still been in this.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It would be tough because they still would be able to activate their double strike thing this turn instead. So you were in a rough spot anyways, and mostly you lost this game to flooding out. But that is like, again, just it's just like I would say as someone who's like, you know, if you whenever we're like trying to get better, to try and not discredit like small differences can make a really big difference in the outcome of a game sometimes. So it's like always interesting to sort of just keep track of like how things might have progressed had we made different decisions, and that's kind of how we process and like think stuff through.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I try not to like, oh man, I'm so unlucky. If I didn't flood, I would have done better. Like, yeah, but you need to learn how to make the best out of what you have, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, I was just fucked.
Yeah, now you're just you're pretty dead.
Okay, cool.
Also, by the way, that friendly ghost making a strong argument for being.
I know. Where did they put that ability when it came out?
I think when they played it, they pumped the token and they got in.
Oh, okay.
That's when you did your chump block, yeah.
Okay. Beans. All right.
Cool.
Now we're gonna go draft. Any last comments on this?
Nope. No, I think, like I said, I think really the biggest component is straight up that you flooded, but I think there's still some, like, good stuff to think about from that game, so it's nice to have gone over.
Yeah, I think so. Let me close this out. Let me open Arena.
And I think mostly for the draft too, like I'll let you know if I feel very strongly one way or another about like your pick or whatever, but mostly it's just and think through your picks and do your thing. And like if you have questions, let me know, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. Yeah.
How's your girlfriend doing?
Oh, doing good.
Is she learning?
I don't know. I'm not. I'm currently was looking at your draft.
Oh, I thought I don't know. I guess I imagined her being next to you. And you're like talking and she's like listening. But that's probably not what's happening.
Accurate.
Damn. I don't know why I thought she was sitting next to you, like taking notes. I'm stupid. Hey, chat, are you learning? Do you feel like you're learning, chat? Silence.
Yeah, chat's not about the learning.
No. Most of my chat isn't here to learn for sure. Ooh!
Ooh, that went quick. Oh, can you share your arena?
Oh,
Just because I
fuck.
think I'm on a delay if I look through your stream.
Yeah, you're right. I was... Okay. I think this was supposed to be really good, but how do you feel like about Under the Skin?
I think
Over
Under the
this?
Skin is an extremely good card, and Flip It Drown are also extremely good cards. So you do your thing. I like both of them a lot.
Okay, let's see here. I'm assuming I would have better chances with what's coming up next if I just pick this, right? Because
Honestly, it's really hard to tell, and I think that it's like anyone who's going to tell you
maybe
100%
not.
that one of these picks is good and the other one is bad is kind of full of shit. I think like either one is fine, and they're both really good cards. So there might be small preferences, but your call.
Okay, I grabbed Under the Skin.
Cool.
Um,
Oh, also, I can't see your arena on the screen share, just in
can't?
case. But I'm just looking at the stream right now, but I might be kind of delayed a little.
I am sharing it.
Uh, oh, no, I can see it now. Just kidding. I take it back. I was just tech illiterate. You're good.
Okay. I thought this was. I know you said like it's not so good, but I thought it was okay because, especially with this, because it could trigger delirium fairly easily, right?
Okay. I don't think that's like a huge mistake, but I would probably not be picking that here. The pack's a little weak. I personally, when packs are a little bit weak, I usually tend to stay more open. So I might take the gym, the green card here, because it fixes your mana, which makes you more flexible later. But no, what you're gonna pick, the Final Vengeance, is not bad either. I think that's a defensible pick. So if you want to try it, I think it's totally fine.
This one.
Or that one is fine. I think it's between the infection, if we're planning to stay black, and the unable to scream are like the primary ones, with unable to scream being a better card, kind of like in general. I think yeah, either one is kind of defensible here. I personally would be more inclined to be towards the unable to scream because I don't think our Final Vengeance is so good that it pulls me into necessarily trying to play black. But it's not, like I said, these picks are all really close, and I don't think you can really go too wrong either way.
I don't like blue green.
Okay, well, fuck it.
um, this is just poopy, but I guess I'll grab this because we talked about it already. How do you feel about this card?
That card is interesting. I started out and I didn't really like it that much, but it's kind of grown on me. I think it kind of depends on obviously the deck you're in, but like you feel really bad mostly when you have that against like white red instead of having like a creature or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But it's not bad. I think you could pick it here and it'd be totally fine. I don't know how Glimmerlight is in black green. I haven't really got to play it that much, so I just don't have experience there.
Would you spec on this?
I think that yeah, the dual land is potentially fine. I think Glimmerlight is probably okay, and Ghost Vacuum is defensible. And amongst those, I think those are fine. Any other pick, I'm pretty unexcited about.
Huh. This isn't like this a signal.
I think it is a good card. I don't think that it's a signal any more so though than the Stick Twister, and you already are looking to play black, so I would be kind of leaning that direction. Um, Manifest Dread, by the way, in the Delirium decks is quite good.
Yeah.
But I think Stick Twister is probably it is a comparably good card, and we seem to be closer to the black direction here. So I would maybe go with something there.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like this pick.